Hey guys, just want to do a quick one here. I know I've trashed on DC a lot for the DC new and everything, but now apparently it's time to get on Marvel's case as well. They have done something recently called Marvel Now. It's very buzzwordy and tied into sales and everything, so it's kind of annoying. But apparently what it is, they're taking some of their flagship titles, your X-Men's, your Avengers, and so on and so forth, renumbering, switching up the creative teams, just trying to draw some attention to the titles again, pulling on the success of their movies. It makes sense. I get it, because they say number ones attract more fans, they sell better, they get new people to come in, they think it's a starting point, so there's not as much baggage to deal with. But in talking about those ease of starting, they actually referenced Heroes Reborn as an inspiration. Marvel, never point to Heroes Reborn as a reference point for anything you want to be a success, because that was fucking terrible. But so I hate the constant renumbering. I get why they do it, and at least it's better than a full reboot. So I'll deal with it. But I'm tired of it as an excuse. The first superhero comic I bought for myself to actually read and to have or what have you, as opposed to something your mom gets you on a trip or something I would just get to pull pictures out of with Silly Putty, was Iron Man 250. And on the cover, there were two guys in crazy armor and Merlin the Magician. You had the futuristic guy in red and gold in Iron Man. You had the spooky guy in a green cloak and riveted armor in Doctor Doom, and fucking Merlin the Magician. I was sold on the book. I didn't really care that it was issue 250. If anything, that was to the book's benefit. It felt, 250 is a nice, round, solid number. It felt just big. And it felt like because it was issue 250's anniversary issue, it seemed like there was some sort of achievement. I was part of something bigger, as part of a legacy, as opposed to some random, here's a number one. The 250 helped it. But I've never looked at something and said, you know what, that says 374. I don't want that one. There's somebody fighting against a giant troll, or no, like the cover of Thor where Beta Ray Bill is like smashing through the Thor logo. I didn't know who the fuck Beta Ray Bill was. That's just an interesting cover. I'm like, wow, he's breaking the actual logo and just this weird horse face dude dressed like Thor. That's a cool cover. I'd buy that book. I didn't care about the fucking numbers. So don't put too much faith into your numbers, guys. That's not where it's at. If you want to get your sales up, ignore the numbers. Don't just put ones. I'm sure it's going to help for a little bit. But attract new readers through the best way you can. Somebody suggested if you're selling movie tickets, give away a free sampler comic or a code for a digital download. So people get the comics. They don't just see the movies. You actually get some readers in front. And my suggestion is don't just put books and stuff out there in front of kids, who like say, hey, it's a new number, I can get in easier. Or even with adults who do the same thing. Put books in front of parents. Your movies, your cartoons, your toys, sure, that puts ideas in the kids' heads, but it's the parents' money that puts product in their hands. Put shit in grocery stores, convenience stores. I said it time and time again. Comic books are great road trip fodder. Mom and pops, they stop off for some gas and some fucking Gatorade or what have you. Buy a couple, cheap, just comics. Toss them to the kids, saying, shut the fuck up, we're going to drive. That's going to do so much more for you than renumbering and changing the adjectives on a book, Adding an avenging Spider-Man to an amazing Spider-Man to a spectacular Spider-Man to a web of Spider-Man. Just stop. Just do shit right. Marvel point number 2, the big copyright thing they're going for right now, they're putting a lot of buying up the rights for domain names and stuff and merchandise for Guardians of the Galaxy. I guess this is coming out of the Thanos bit at the end of the Avengers, going for the more cosmic stuff. But somebody on one of the sites had pointed out, that it's likely that Rocket Raccoon will be in a movie before Wonder Woman. And that's just, I don't know if that's just a side effect or a huge fuck you to DC. Say, hey, Warner Brothers, you can't get one of the most recognizable comic book icons in the nation, if not the world, into a movie theater, but we can get a fucking Australian raccoon with a jetpack and dual pistols into a movie. And people will go see it. That's just a dick move. Maybe by the time we get to Avengers 2, they will actually, do like the 50 States Initiative or whatever. They're going to put Squirrel Girl in a movie before Wonder Woman. You're going to have the Great Lakes Avengers or some shit. And that would just be awesome. Another stupid thing that Marvel did. Battle Scars. If you're not familiar with the storyline, it's stupid. And people say, oh no, there's so much more to it than this. I'm like, ah. The crux of the story is there's a black Nick Fury in the movies, so that's what a lot of people see when they think of Nick Fury now. So we better make a black Nick Fury in the comics. We already had a black Nick Fury in the Ultimate Comics, the Marvel's alternate universe, which is the one who kind of inspired a lot of the stuff in the movies. But now we're bringing... Apparently Nick Fury banged some black lady back in the day, doesn't stick around, she gets pregnant, has a kid, this guy Marcus or whatever, he goes into the army, becomes a real hard ass. Supervillains, kidnap him, they don't say why. They gouge his eye out because they say, hey, you're Nick Fury's son. And he's like, who the fuck is Nick Fury? Why do I have one eye now? And then somehow they get him and Fury together in the same room. This guy's name is Marcus. Like I said, it's Marcus Johnson or some shit. I don't fucking know. He's dying, and so they take the Infinity Formula out of white Nick Fury and put it into black Marcus. And that because Nick Fury wants to retire and grow old. And so somehow that qualifies this guy to be promoted to director of S.h.i.e.L.D. or some shit. At which point he shaves his head, grows a goatee, and looks a lot more like Samuel L. Jackson. And his old army buddy, who they called Cheese earlier in the series, is revealed to be named Phil Coulson. Guys, what the fuck? It's just... the new readers might be confused if they buy a Marvel comic book and they see that Nick Fury is white, but when they see him in the movie, he's black. Is it that fucking hard to explain? Oh, they just changed some shit for the movie because, Sam Jackson's a pretty badass guy. In the comics, he's a white guy. If you want to see the black Nick Fury, there's, a separate line of stories that, that has Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury. It's right over here. You can buy those too. No. You have to go through that fucking explanation. Or you simply be, in the past, in the comics, switched. Not a big deal. Fuck's sake, that's some terrible storytelling, Marvel. That's it for today. I'm sure one of the big two is going to do something really, really silly soon. Put Liefeld in more books. Keep paying Winnick. Fuck you, Winnick. And if so, I'll be here to make fun of them and offer really worthless internet critiques, because that's what the internet is for. So I hope you guys have a lovely day. The heat has dropped significantly. It's no longer 100 plus. It's now in the mid to high 80s, which you wouldn't think that's a big difference, but going from over the weekend, it was from 105 down to 95, huge difference. So from 95 to 85, feeling good. If you have any suggestions, what you want to talk about, drop it in the comments below. If you want to point out anything that you think about the DC new or Marvel now, renumbering, Marvel movies, how bad Battle Scars is, or if you think you can convince me that Battle Scars is good, drop it in, response videos, you know the deal. I will talk to you all soon. Have a good day. Bye.